trying to do smart contracts without oracles like trying to have sex with your pants on. I mean, it's not really fun.
That was Charles Hoskinson a few months ago on the Lex Friedman podcast, talking about how important oracles are to the smart contract space. In today's video, I want to talk about the biggest decentralized oracle in the crypto world, Chainlink. I will go over in simple terms exactly what Chainlink does for anybody who is completely new to crypto. And then I will go through some interesting bits of information that you might need to know if you ever want to consider investing in Chainlink, such as the competition, and we will also have a look at how the price has been doing recently. So what is an oracle and why is it needed for smart contracts? If we think of a very basic smart contract, let's say for example, I decided to lend you money and we agreed that the interest rate on that loan was going to be a variable interest rate that was tied somehow to the Fed's interest rates. So we set up our smart contract on Ethereum and then we realized that blockchains are closed systems. They don't have any information from the outside world. For our smart contract to work perfectly, we will need some real-time data on what the Fed's interest rate is. This is where oracles come in. There are many off-chain sources of information that are vital for the functioning of smart contracts, such as the FX rates on different currencies, the weather even, and the interest rates as I mentioned earlier. What an oracle can do is integrate with all different types of chains and feed this data in from the outside world via RSI feeds, for example. The way Chainlink works, it has a network of decentralized data providers that feed this information. Chainlink is actually a proof of stake system and the data providers earn staking rewards by providing accurate and timely information. These data providers are incentivized to provide accurate information or else the rewards will be slashed. You might be thinking to yourself, why doesn't Ethereum or any other blockchain try and build in this kind of functionality into their whole base layer? One of the reasons is security and not having a door to the real world, and the second reason is also political. Recently, Ethereum's founder Vitalik Buterin said that building an oracle into Ethereum's base layer could cause a lot of political issues. The example he gave in the interview was, imagine if there was a civil war in the United States, and at the time of the civil war, there ended up being two different types of dollars. Ethereum would then have to decide what the real dollar is. So Ethereum, naturally enough, do not want to have any of these types of issues anytime in the future. Although there may be different types of solutions in the next 5 or 10 years, what Vitalik was saying here gives me a lot of confidence that Chainlink has a lot of room to grow as the smart contract space completely explodes. Chainlink has a run on the market in terms of decentralized oracles, as it was the first one to market. If we jump over to CoinGecko here and just filter for oracles, you will see how it has such a huge dominant position in terms of market value. The market value for Chainlink as I'm making this video is about 14.6 billion and the nearest competitor is 28 times smaller at about $500 million. So it really is a giant in the oracle space. However, some have challenged the decentralization of Chainlink, saying that 80% of its tokens are held in just 125 wallets. If this was the case, then market manipulation would be a concern for any investors. Let's now look at some of the different types of innovations that Chainlink have been rolling out recently, mainly its interoperability. Lately, it has increased its cross-chain interoperability protocol. What this basically means, it will allow different blockchains to talk to each other, send messages, send data, send tokens. Chainlink also released a new white paper this year, Chainlink 2.0. This is going to deal with things like the scalability issues that it was going to face in the future and their plans for that. I will leave a link to that white paper below in the description section, but just a word of warning, it is not light reading. In terms of the key drivers for success for Chainlink, it has to be the number of integrations that it has with different projects and different blockchains. One interesting thing to see is their partners are not just all in the crypto world, but they have a lot of partners in the real world as well. They are also doing a lot of work for the likes of Google Cloud and Swift. Their Twitter profile is a good place to keep an eye on all of their new integrations, as they're announcing 1 or 2 of them nearly every day. Now let's move on and have a look at the price. I'm not going to make any price predictions because I think that's a bit of a fool's game in my opinion. But what I will do is try and make my case for why I think it's currently undervalued. So first off, let's have a look at the price in terms of USD. So at the moment, the price of Chainlink is $32.55 as I'm making this video. It just actually started popping off a bit in the last hour or two since I've started making this video. But has been pretty subdued over the last month compared to the rest of the crypto market. If we widen out the charts and go back and have a look at some of its previous highs, we'll see back here in the middle of May, it was up as high as $52. So there's a lot of room to grow there to reach its all-time highs again. What I think is more interesting to look at though is Link in the terms of the price of ETH. So the Link ETH price has been on a downtrend since the middle of May. So if you have a look at the chart here, it's been just constantly on the way down here. Until about today, it's starting to slightly come up today as the price of Link has started to just bounce all of a sudden. But it has a long way to go to catch up with how much ETH has gone up in the last few months. If we look at Link in terms of Bitcoin as well, it is quite down in terms of its all-time highs. So the rise of Bitcoin really hasn't affected Link too much. Whereas it has with a lot of other altcoins, the rise of Bitcoin has really dragged up a lot of them. I think Chainlink really hasn't been affected by it a whole heap compared to other cryptocurrencies. So that makes me think we will see a good bounce in the price of Chainlink in the coming weeks. That being said though, we could easily be hit with a lot of FUD. We do have that infrastructure bill coming up in the next few weeks in the US. So that will possibly throw the market into a bit of turmoil again. So that is kind of a risk that you need to consider if you do plan on putting your money into crypto in the next few weeks with that looming over us. But in terms of value in the crypto market, I think Link is one of the best at the moment. But this is not financial advice at all. Anything can happen as we know with crypto. But I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Are you planning on investing in Chainlink or do you already have a bag of it? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. So thanks very much for watching everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button to try and help me out and subscribe to the channel to keep up with my latest videos.